Hi, my name is Jasmine Sims. I'm going to talk about my three youngest siblings, who I'm 7 years apart from, 7 and 9 years apart. As the second oldest sibling, I've seen a lot of changes in both my parents and their parenting styles over the years, largely in the discipline and responsibility areas when it comes to my younger siblings. One major thing that I believe my siblings and I shared as far as our childhood goes is what sociologist Annette LaRue called concerted cultivation. I know we're in chapter 4, but chapter 5 kind of really grasped my interest with some of the concepts and some of the studies that were done. And one thing she talked about was concerted cultivation. And that's basically when the parents, are actively engaged in fostering, assessing their children's talents, opinions, and skills. And the Root says this parenting attribute is commonly found in white and black middle class homes. I did grow up in a middle class home with both parents. And growing up, my parents made sure my siblings and I were both all of us, actively involved in extracurricular activities that we not only had interest in, but we excelled in. I found it really interesting that, she said middle class and everything like that, and that's how I grew up. Um, but that's one thing that they did keep as far as common ground. They really encouraged us. They really, were very, uplifting, and whatever we took interest in, my parents were like, "You can do it. Let's do this." And they put the time, the money, everything in, and they were all in for whatever we were interested in. As far that pretty, I mean, that's pretty much the only thing that we have in common as far as our childhoods go. It was now, as far as the responsibility and the discipline, are just completely different. My parents were really strict with me and my other sister, who were only 2 years apart, so we pretty much grew up together. Um, they wanted to know, when we were growing up, whose birthday party you invited to, what time, or can I pick you up? They were very active in, making sure they knew exactly where we were going, that they talked to the parents, and you're going to be back at this exact time. My younger siblings, not so much. I seen the difference growing up, and they're just kind of very, just relaxed. And oh, what time will you be home? Sounds great. And that's pretty much the end of the conversation. That was never the case with me growing up or my other sister. Um, we were pretty much hounded. My parents were, they weren't strict, but they just kind of cared a lot more. And now they're just kind of relaxed. Seems like, I don't know, they have a lot of trust in my younger siblings, and they just kind of think, hope they do the right thing, and if they don't, we'll talk about it later, and that's the end of the conversation. So it's definitely a big change in the parenting styles. I also seen in the way that chores are done. If I didn't do a chore, or my parents asked me to do something and I didn't do it right away, it would be, a big blow up. I would be on punishment. I couldn't have this or that. Now my siblings, I mean, my mom will ask my sister to do the dishes. She'll walk out the kitchen and kind of do her own thing, then come back an hour later, dishes still aren't done, and my mom won't blow up on her. She'll just kind of mention it to her again, and then it'll get done when it gets done. My parents are way less strict and kind of don't place as much responsibility on my younger siblings as they did me and my other sister. It might be because of our ages, because we were the older ones and we're setting an example, and now they're the younger ones and they're kind of the last ones in the household, and that's it. I'm not all the way sure. I personally think it's because of my parents' age. They're older right now, they're in their 50s, so I think that they kind of don't want the stress. They just kind of want to relax, and they're not stressing so much and worried. When me and my sister were growing up, they're in their 40s, so I think they just kind of just were a little bit more strict, had a little bit more energy to pretty much, give to us at that time, and that was it. So it is to me, a big difference in how we were raised as far as our childhood goes, but it is what it is. I think my parents did a great job, and I'll always, be grateful to them.